What's up, everybody? We're going live again. Man, so we actually had some requests. I'm going to switch this up, get nice up close and personal with you guys. Brighten that up. There we go. Now I can shed some light on today's topic. Today we're talking about medical awareness, medical alerts, medical whatever you want to call it, necklaces, tattoos, bracelets, something to tell people that you've got something going on. In my case, and most likely in yours, that is diabetes. Now, what is a medical alert thing, necklace, tattoo, and what is its purpose? Well, simply stated, it is a wearable, or in the case of a tattoo, a permanent application to show people that you have something going on, like a disease, that if something were to happen, that you would show that, or they would show that, to the EMTs, to the paramedics, to help them help you. So in other words, if you have diabetes, especially type 1 diabetes, and you pass out, someone may hypothetically look at your necklace. We'll pretend this isn't a Lego piece right now. And on your necklace, it might say type 1 diabetic and list some phone numbers, some emergency contacts, and a paramedic or an EMT, like myself, would see that, hypothetically, and go, okay, they're probably low. Let's test their blood sugar. They test their blood sugar. Oh, yeah, they're at 30. Give them some sugar. And so the idea behind it is if somebody looks at your necklace and sees that it says diabetic, then hypothetically that would speed up the process of you getting that life-saving sugar. Same thing is said about people who need an EpiPen. It might list some medications that they need to take. In the case of an emergency, if someone's passed out, it might list, hey, I need my EpiPen. And someone's like, oh, okay, yeah. And they stab you and you're good to go. So I want to talk about reasons that people wear them. Some people, we'll just jump right into it. Some people wear them as a fashion statement. I'll be honest, when I first got one, I was not cool with wearing, we'll just end it there. I was not cool. I was not cool with wearing a necklace. I was like, no, necklaces are for girls. I was an insecure freshman in college, not freshman, I think I was a sophomore. But still, still growing up, trying to find my place in the world. And I was like, I don't want to wear a necklace. And they're like, well, you can wear a bracelet. And I was like, all right, I'll wear the necklace. And I had considered getting a tattoo for a while because tattoos are manly, right? So I was like, tattoos. I'm not saying girls can't get tattoos. Calm down. But I'm going to show you guys this. Ended up getting a necklace. This is actually the exact necklace that my mom bought me when I was first diagnosed. And she wanted people to be aware that I had diabetes in case something ever did go wrong. And funny timing, because not too long after I was diagnosed, I ended up, not too long, it was like a year or 2 years later, but I moved across the country to New York. I lived in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Jersey, moved around there quite a bit. But living across the country, because I'm from California, my parents were a bit scared, obviously. Newly diagnosed type 1 diabetic, moving across the country. And on top of that, I did not take care of myself very well. Didn't test my blood sugar, guessed on all my meals, guessed the carb counts, was not responsible in the taking care of your diabetes realm. So me wearing this gave her more comfort, and ended up years later giving myself more comfort when I was more aware of how dangerous it was to not take care of your diabetes. And while I never needed this for people to actually save me, it was always that peace of mind. And you should call up and say, have you tested your blood sugar? And are you wearing your necklace? And I'd be like, no, and no. Oh, man, I am sure I worried her quite a bit. But that being said, the way I saw it was, it's a dog tag. And yes, I'm showing you this side and not my personal information side. But I thought it was cool because I was like, all right, yeah, I got a dog tag. Whoa, what's up? Because I always wanted to be in the military. And so it was kind of a way for me to make myself feel like it was acceptable to wear it. Because I was like, okay, military dog tag, even though it is a medical alert necklace, it's all right. Now, other people, let's see if I can make it look like it would look. Other people wear bracelets. And it's a little bit smaller than that, but the bracelets have the same function. They have your information on it. They have whatever disease you may have, whatever special treatment you may need in case of emergency. They wear it on their bracelets and their fashion statement. And of course, it's more than just dog tags. There are cute little necklaces that girls can wear and cute bracelets and all that kind of stuff. There is also the option of a tattoo. And I've heard lots of questions about tattoos. Can a type 1 or type 2 diabetic get tattoos? Can any form of person living with diabetes get a tattoo? And the answer is yes, of course. And people feel a little bit more hesitant when doing something permanent like that, especially when living with diabetes, because they're worried, will it affect my blood sugars? Because let's be real, what doesn't affect blood sugars? And here's the thing. It can affect blood sugars, but not in the way you think it would. What I'm saying is tattoos are painful, I assume. I've actually never had a tattoo. I've thought about getting one, but if I ever do, it's going to take a lot of thought. We'll jump back into it. Tattoos can be painful, and pain can actually cause fluctuations in blood sugar. So the tattoo isn't what's giving you the blood sugar fluctuation, but kind of in a roundabout way, it can lead to a blood sugar fluctuation temporarily while you are experiencing pain. But, you know, have somebody start pinching and cutting your arm, same thing. Now, what was the other one? Oh, so tattoos, they do have a healing process, right? You don't just get a tattoo and, hey, it looks perfect, that's good to go. It takes some time to heal. And for people living with diabetes, especially those who are not as well controlled, the healing process for the tattoo can take a bit longer. So that is one thing to be aware of. The better in control your blood sugars are, the better your healing process will be. Same goes for foot injuries, hand injuries. Any kind of healing process within the body is going to be slowed down with bad blood sugars. So that's another reason for us to take care of our blood sugars and to take care of ourselves. And yes, you guys are wondering why I'm wearing a tank top. It's obviously so I can show off a cool diabetes tech. Got my Dexcom up there. So we got a few options, right? Medical alert necklaces, bracelets, tattoos, t-shirts. Those are more funny though, where it's like, you know, diabetes catchphrases. But do you wear them? Do I wear them? As you can see, I'm wearing a Lego piece and not a medical alert necklace. What good is this Lego piece going to do when I pass out? I'm not going to say when, because I don't pass out from low blood sugars because I am controlled, thankfully. However, I'm not going to say it's impossible that I would pass out, because sometimes diabetes likes to throw a wrench in the gears and mess up your days, and sometimes it just does its own thing. But that being said, why am I not wearing this? Whoops. Why am I not wearing my medical alert necklace? Well, personal preference. That's what it boils down to. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video and in previous videos, I am an EMT. I'm certified and I can save lives and all that fun stuff. One thing to know is people think that by wearing this will guarantee that the EMTs and paramedics and firefighters are going to know that you have diabetes and know exactly what to do when they get on scene. That's just not true. And I hate to break it to you, but I want you guys to know the truth. If they see this hanging around your neck, they're not going to check this first, because this is most likely, in most cases, just a style statement. It's something that people wear. People wear necklaces, and they're not going to stop to check the cool necklaces and bracelets every time they show up onto a scene of an emergency, especially if it's something like a car crash and people are bleeding out and there's a whole mess that they have to check through. What they will do is they'll check your vitals. They'll check your heart rate, your breathing, make sure you're doing okay, and if you are unconscious, then they will eventually get down the checklist, and it's pretty close to the top where they will check your blood sugar. And they're not checking your blood sugar because you're wearing a medical alert necklace or a tattoo, or because your friend told you or told them to check it. It's because that's part of the process of being an EMT, paramedic, firefighter, whatever it is. It's part of their process to check blood sugars, because they're aware that people do pass out because of low blood sugars. And so that's part of the process, and this is not the reason why they're checking your blood sugar. So if that is the only reason you're wearing it, then and you hate it, then maybe don't worry about wearing it. But there is a level of comfort that comes from wearing this. Let me tell you what I mean. I mentioned that my parents always asked if I was wearing it and if I was testing my blood sugars. For them, that was comforting, because they knew that I had a thing around my neck that was telling people around me that I had diabetes. Worst case scenario. So that way, if I did pass out, let's say at work, I used to work as a bartender and a cater waiter and all that kind of stuff over in New York. And let's say I happened to pass out. They had the peace of mind knowing that my necklace would tell my coworkers that I'm a diabetic, and that they could then pass that on to medical professionals or call an ambulance or whatever. And so there's peace of mind associated with that. This also comes with traveling. When I travel, I do keep this in my backpack. And if I'm ever feeling funky, or if I'm in a very remote area, or an area where they don't speak the same language as me, I know that the medical insignia right there is going to give me a better chance of them knowing that something is going on with me, because it's a medical symbol. And if they happen to speak some English, or they want to translate on their phone, then flipping it over and seeing type 1 diabetic gives me a better shot. Now, this is for my peace of mind while I travel. I'm not saying you have to wear it while you travel. It all boils down to personal preference. And that is the entire message of this video, is you don't have to wear this, and you don't have to avoid wearing it. Whichever one you pick, it's your preference. It's for peace of mind. It does let people know around you. Let's say you pass out in the mall. Strangers can read that. It does offer that peace of mind. However, it will not guarantee your safety. And so there was a time in my life where mentally I was not in the best of places, and diabetes was wrecking me. I had a really tough time, and actually I'm going to be doing an episode on this on my podcast. And for those of you who are not aware that I have a podcast, I do. I co-host it with one of my buddies who is also type 1 diabetic, and the podcast is called Pardon My Pancreas. I know, it's pretty clever. So if you guys look up Pardon My Pancreas on Spotify or iTunes or any of those, you'll find some fun episodes. We interview a lot of people. So we interview experts in the diabetes realm. We interview people who are living with diabetes and want to share their stories. In fact, tomorrow at noon PST, Pacific Standard Time, we've got a really fun episode going up. This woman that I interviewed last week on traveling with diabetes. And I'm not going to spoil the story, but she lived on an extremely remote island for a year with type 1 diabetes, and had some incredible stories, some close calls, and it's just an amazing episode. So Pardon My Pancreas for those of you who are interested. It's a great podcast for people living with diabetes. But back to our regularly scheduled program. Medical alert necklaces, bracelets, tattoos, it comes down to personal preference. And if you guys wear them, that's awesome. I've worn them, and like I mentioned, I was going through a rough time, and this brought me peace. I wore it for a couple months straight because having this around my neck made me feel better about the fact that if something did happen, there was this extra level of defense that would let people know what to do in case of an emergency. So totally great if you wear it, totally understand why people wear it, and there is value behind that. They're a great tool for that purpose because it is an extra level of defense. However, if you hate wearing it, so did I for a while, but you know, case by case. That's what it boils down to. Man, turning that light up really made it hot in here. It's very bright. One more thing, guys, I wanted to mention is we are still accepting applications for our Thrive with Diabetes pilot program, which means we've got a few spots left. That's right. We opened it back up because we didn't want to close the doors just yet. So we've got, I think it's 6 days left until this is closed for good. Not for good, but it's closed for a long time because it is a 3-month program. So for anybody interested in joining that pilot program, I'm going to add that into the comments because you have to apply to get in, and I will be going over the applications myself and letting you know if you are accepted, because we want to make sure this is the right fit for those who apply. We want to make sure that it's going to benefit you in the ways that you hope it will benefit you, because I want to bring you the most value possible. And in a quick summary, essentially this is a program to help you lower your A1C, help you learn to navigate the real scenarios in life, like traveling with diabetes and wearing medical alert necklaces and all sorts of interesting scenarios that are not covered in your doctor's visits that you don't get to talk about. So it's about living real life with diabetes, understanding nutrition and how it affects your blood sugars, and fitness, being able to work out without worrying about low blood sugars or the high blood sugars afterwards, and ultimately thriving with diabetes, which is why we called it Thrive with Diabetes. So if you guys are at all interested in that, there's more of a description in that link. So click on the link, read the description, and if it seems like a good fit for you, go ahead and apply, and I'll let you know if you get through. Hope to see you guys in there, and hope you're having an awesome, awesome night, and keep up the fight.